brings up like you immediately red flag when he's like, hey sir, how are you today?
Correct.
Same thing on the phone. So like I always tell new agents, when you call someone, it's Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Friday afternoon, doesn't matter. You cannot be excited to talk to them. Internally, yes, you want to help them.
Yeah.
But you can't say, hey sir, how's your day so far? Because immediately bing, 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 bing,
Right.
sales. Then once I'm in the app, going back to the application, once you're in the application, now you can open up.
Well, dude, thanks for coming up, bro. Appreciate you. Well, coming over from Colorado. This first time you been up this way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Been in New York, Jersey.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the farthest north.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're pretty much Canada, so. But I mean, nice and cold for you, just like back home, right?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad. We're going to talk about some sales stuff. This is the next level. And one of the biggest, something that can really impact your policy is how you fill out the application.
Yep.
Right? And it seems small, seems stupid. It seems, well, why are you talking about filling? It's just you put your name here. Sure.
Yeah.
But there's other things like, medications, health questions that are a big part of that.
Right.
And can really make or break your deal because, first of all, you don't want to show a client something that they're not going to be eligible for.
Correct, yeah.
And this is where, we hear people, some agents call themselves field underwriters, whatever. And this is where you're doing that field underwriting.
Yep.
It is your job, whether you're in the home, on the phone, whatever, but your job is to find out, first of all, what this client wants, how can I fit those needs, how can I fit their budget, but also, what are they actually eligible for?
Right.
It's really your job, in that is to give them a policy. I mean, they sold themselves on a policy when they filled out whatever form they did.
Yep.
Or, initiated contact. But it's your job to really assess the situation because the last thing you want to do is sell me a policy that's not going to get approved.
Right.
And the medications are a big part of that, right?
Yep.
I think sometimes as a new agent, you're almost a little hesitant to talk about that, right? Like, let's get real personal. But how are you handling the medications and how are you asking for them? How are you're preparing your client, but also how are you making sure that you're getting the right information?
Yep. So the biggest thing throughout the whole process is letting the client know why you're about to do what you're about to do. Mm-hmm. Why would we ask for, medications? Well, because it's all based on, age and health.
Yeah.
So Mike, I got to ask you some basic questions about your health, and that'll tell me who you best match with. We can shop all the carriers to find you the best plan.
Yeah.
So letting you know into my structure, I break it down into, SPA, suitability plan application. So when I let the client know, hey, I get it, you're looking for final expense insurance to take care of the funeral when you pass. My job's super simple. We're going to go through suitability because it's all based on your age and health. I can ask you some basic questions. From there, we're going to customize your plan, submit an application to the carrier for approval. Sound good?
Yeah.
You say yes. Now you know what's about to happen. And then for suitability, I kind of put their mind at ease because, we talked to some clients that they do have, health conditions that they're not too excited to talk about, right? Or they're worried that, if I tell them I had cancer 5 years ago, I'm going to get declined.
Correct.
So you just tell them, hey, Mike, none of these questions, again, no blood work or physicals, none of these questions are knockouts or disqualifiers. They'll just help me place you with the best carrier that will actually accept you.
Yep.
Any cancer, heart attack, stroke, or stents, okay, any diabetes, blood pressure, asthma, anything like that. Okay, what about any heart, liver, kidney issues? All right, they tell me all that, getting the height and weight, do you smoke? And then I'll say at the end, all right, that's it for suitability. Before we move on to look at the plans, is there anything else that the carrier would find? Because we're going to do a health record check. Is there anything else you can think of, meds that have been prescribed, random hospital visits, anything else? And, they'll bring up well, you didn't ask me about this, or, you didn't ask me about heart failure. I got a little bit of that, it's like.
You missed that in the whole heart section, but yeah.
So they will then bring it up there. Yeah. And then still not everybody's honest with you.
Sure.
And so even getting into the app, we're blessed to have carriers that will give us an instant decision like Americo and Ethos, Mutual of Omaha, kinda. We now have that ability to where, okay, let's say the client was hiding something, it'll flag, and then it gives us an opportunity to say, hey, it looks like they're popping something on your medical records. Is there anything we missed?
Yeah.
Now that they're caught, they'll tell you, and you can go, oh, got it. Well, let's go to this carrier. I got a solution, because we have a solution for everybody.
Correct.
They just got to tell us so we can do our job.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack. One thing that I really love about that is the part where you say these are not knockout questions.
Yeah.
Because it puts them at ease.
Yep.
Because you're right. They're thinking, I got this. Some clients I think are trying to, maybe not lie, but not paint you the full picture because they think it's going to impact what you're going to offer them, how you're going to view them,
right.
which I get.
Yep.
Right. And then some I do think completely forget.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you had a client where, like, I was prescribed this for, 2 months, never really took it, and then, my doctor had me do X, Y, and Z, but it's still on the record, right?
Right.
So the fact that, number one, you put them at ease in a way where, hey, nothing that you're going to answer is going to knock you out.
Yep.
Because you're right. We have a product for just about everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're over a certain age, we're going to know that off the bat.
Right.
And if you're living in a nursing home, we're not going to go meet with you in the first place. So it's like
Yeah.
we can say we have a policy for everyone that we meet with anyway.
Correct.
So leading with that is huge.
Yep.
And then also that last question, like, do you know how many deals that would have saved me? Or how many headaches it would have saved me if I would have asked that additional, hey, is there anything else that you may have been prescribed that you don't take anymore?
Yep.
Because how many times have I, back in the day, wrote a policy, everything they told me is fine, something comes up, then it's a phone interview, or, oh, yeah, no, Mike, that was something I took, years ago. It was a few years ago. They thought I was diabetic. I took that. I'm like, yeah, I know, but we needed that info up front. But that alleviates all that.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And that's great. What about follow-up interviews? So that's the second part of this, right? It's not all – hopefully 75, 80% of your deals are done on the spot. It doesn't go to an underwriter. But there are cases where they need some additional information, right?
Yep.
I mean, maybe they need a follow-up interview because of the age. Maybe it's a dual-use. You deal with this a lot with, like, inhalers, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
That could be used for asthma or COPD.
COPD, yep.
Right?
Yep.
And sometimes they just want to call to go, hey, which one are you taking it for?
Yeah.
And if it's asthma, make sure you say asthma.
Right.
Like, don't go, oh, it may be, but no, what will you diagnose?
Yes.
So are you prepping your clients for follow-up interviews, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so actually every client, whether it says approved or not, I am letting them know, hey, looks like we're about 90% of the way there. We are pre-approved. Now, oftentimes, you know how these carriers are. They have some follow-up questions, or they might need additional, clarification on something. So go ahead and save my number in your phone. So letting them know, like, we're most of the way there, but we may need something else. Save my number in your phone. Ty Insurance Guy, that's me, same number I call my mom with. Save that, and then I will be reaching out via text message. You get text, right? Yep, cool. I will be reaching out via text message within the next week, whether it's for an update or good news, hey, your policy's on the way. Have that, have your phone next to you. Look out for my text, and, if we need to jump on another call to sort something out, we can. Sound good? So I'm letting them know the expectation, again, letting them know what's about to happen. I will be reaching out. And most of the time, 90% of the time, it's just a text saying, hey, congrats, you're approved. That policy's in the mail now, 1 to 2 weeks. You're officially covered. Call me if you need anything. Right. But it does save those cases where it's like, they need you to send a utility bill to verify your address. Like, that's the worst, but the client was expecting it. And now they're not thinking, oh, this is different. He told me they always ask for stuff, so let me just get that to them. Yeah.
And it's also a good way to kind of vet your clients too. Like, hey, make sure everything you're telling me is true, because I don't want the insurance carrier to call you and now you say something different. So, like, whatever you tell me, I'm going to put down, but let's make sure you're telling me the truth.
Be honest,
because that's a big part of this. If you can't get the truth out of your clients, number one, they don't trust you, right? Or you've not built a good enough rapport for them to tell you the truth. But it's going to make the insurability process a lot harder if your client's not giving you the whole picture.
Right. Yep.
Objections. We touched on this a little bit. I like the idea, and I think you develop this as you get better of removing the objection. I think if you're getting objections, you're doing something to bring them on yourself.
Correct.
But, like, why do we train on this? Because most new agents are going to bring objections on. Like, it's almost like you have to go through that. Right. Yeah. Like, we can't prepare you perfectly for the field so that you never have any. It doesn't. We don't have the boy in the bubble going on. Right. You can't do that. Yep. So we all go through that phase of, like, I got to overcome these. Yeah. But even now, like, I mean, there's times where you do everything you can to remove them, but something will come up. Right. Yeah. So, like, you've heard this. I'm not looking to add another bill right now. Right. Sure. Or it's just going to be, it's not going to fit in my budget right now. Yep. How do you address that?
Yeah, so no worries, Mike. These plans are fully customizable. Like I said earlier, we went through suitability. Now we're customizing your plan, and then before we submit the application, we got to customize it to the penny of what you're comfortable with. So, that 20,000 seems like that's a little tight. Let's drop it down to 15,000 for $81 a month. Is that more doable for you? Yes. Or if you say no, okay, go down again. Right. There is a sweet spot. One of the concepts we talk about in our office a lot is like, if it was $1, they'd do it. And you can ask that too. If it gets to that point, I'll ask, all right, Mike, let me ask you kind of a dumb question. If this was $1, you'd do it, right? And of course. Right. So really it's just a price issue. So let's find a plan that's comfortable for you. Whether that's, for some clients, that's $200-300 a month, doesn't even phase them.
Sure.
For most, it's around $100, $80.
Yep.
$120, right? You just got to find that number that's like going to the grocery store, swiping the card for some groceries. They don't even think about it.
Right.
You got to find that number and then move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. What about, and I think this happens probably even more now with the internet. People read one thing online. Yeah. Everyone thinks like everything they read online is true. Like, remember when we were kids, they'd be like, don't believe what you read online. Now those same people, dude, are like older and they believe every damn thing that hits their Facebook, TikTok feed, whatever. Like, I just, I read, man, life insurance is a scam, Ty. I read that online. Like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, so my life insurance, you have like car insurance, right? You pay for that?
Yeah.
Health insurance, Yeah, so life insurance is just coverage to where if you die, it pays your family. You're going to die, right? Someday?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you've probably heard there's some bad policies out there, yes, or maybe some bad agents, but yeah, life insurance is just to take care of your family when you die. That's what you're wanting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so got your age, and then you just roll in.
Right.
Wherever you're at.
Almost like as ridiculous as it is, you just meet it there like, yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so, anyways, you have insurance, right? Like this is not like insurance does exist. It's not just life insurance,
right?
But yeah, it's and you also you don't want to get into this like the way you responded was just even keel.
Yeah.
Just hey man, like you have other insurance, right?
Yeah.
Because if you get in this, well, it's not a scam. You can't believe that. Like, oh God, you might as well just hang up the phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And I think that's where, new agents a lot of times get hung up. This isn't meant to like give you ammo to go fight.
No.
You don't want to fight with your client.
Right.
You want it to go smooth.
Yeah.
You want to be able to remove. And if they say something crazy, a lot of times they're just trying to mess with you.
Right. Yeah, they're just either not wanting to be sold or messing with you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we're all trained to not want to be sold.
Right.
I mean, you've gone shopping, right?
Yes.
You probably bought that shirt. Did you buy it online or you buy it in the store?
Online. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's pretend you bought it in the store.
I walked into Target.
You walked in.
Yeah.
You knew you wanted a black shirt, right? And now if I'm the sale, I go, hey, how can I help you? What are you going to say?
Good. Just looking.
All set. Yeah. You looking for anything particular today? No, I'm just looking around.
No, there was I'm 30 this month, but I still play in this men's league basketball.
Okay.
So I go to the Nike outlet store. This was like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And I tell my team this all the time because it's the retail store analogy. We're all preconditioned, even if we're there. So I go into Nike. I'm there to buy a pair of shoes.
Yep.
Right. I'm a buyer. I will buy a pair of shoes because my game's tomorrow.
Yep.
I walk in, guys like, hey, what can I help you find? Nope.
Nothing.
Don't talk to me. I walk back. Right. I'm looking at all the different shoes. You got the LeBrons, the Kyries, the Kobe, new Kobe's, right? And I'm looking, and then I'm like, oh, I need to try these on. I went to that same guy. I'm like, hey, I need you to go grab all these boxes. I made him grab like 7 pairs, different colors, sizes, and you could tell he was getting annoyed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I told that dude I wasn't looking at any for a thing. It wasn't real. I just didn't, I'm stubborn. I want to do it my way, or I just didn't want him to try to sell me the $400 pair of shoes, right?
Right.
Like I'm there to do what I want, and then once we realize like. For our clients, once they realize, like, okay, this guy's not trying to sell me. He's just helping me. He's just an underwriter. That's what we call ourselves.
Right.
They're much more willing to tell us and give us their order, basically.
Sure.
As opposed to the, hey, you want this, we got to get you this coverage, right? No, I'm just looking.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, all right, well, we're going to go through some health questions, sift through all the carriers, find you the best plan, okay?
Right.
Easy.
Yep. But just like we're conditioned, so are they.
Yep.
Even though it's like them filling out a form is equivalent to you walking into that store.
Exactly.
You knew you needed sneakers for the next day.
Yep.
You knew that if you saw something you liked, you were going to buy them here.
Yeah, I had to.
You had to.
Like, no
you know
choice.
other option. Yeah. So, like, you weren't leaving that store without sleep. Like, how much easier would it have been, like, hey, dude, I'm playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
I need some shoes. I'm a size 13, bro.
Yeah.
Here's what I like. Here's what I'm trying to spend. I'm not spending 400. I'll drop 2. What you got?
Yep.
Dude would have came out with like 3 pairs, bro. Which one you want? You've been in and out.
In and out. Yeah.
But we're so conditioned to, and it's not. I'm not saying like I don't do any different. I walk in, oh, leave me alone. I'm looking for nothing.
Yeah.
Like I'm in Home Depot with a damn list, bro. Like,
can I help you?
How can I help you? No, you can't. Leave me alone. You know what? It's partly your fault. Not you personally, but so I was in Home Depot recently, and there were solar guys, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, they hounded me. Oh, dude. Now I'm like, I got done working here. It's like 6, 7 o'clock. I'm like, on my way home. I got to pick up some trim. I was redoing one of the kids' room. Oh yeah. So I had a list, dude. And I just got to like the wall of the trim. I'm grabbing the first piece, and I hear, "Hey, sir, can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Oh my god." I turn around. It's 2 young kids, bro. Like, you know, they're smiling like you're smiling right now. They're doing their job, Ty. They're like, "Hey, you know, can I?" I'm like, no offense, I'm not interested in anything you have to say right now.
Right.
Like, I wasn't rude. Yeah, and they go, "Do you have EverSource? They're a power company out here." I'm like, oh my god. So, and I think I've been scarred by our business because we're lead based.
Yeah, you know what's
so
going
I'm like, dude, I didn't ask you for anything.
Right.
Don't ask me for shit.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So I go, and I was nice because he's a young kid. I'm not trying to mess with the kid. I said, "Hey, remember that part where I'm not interested in anything you have to say?"
Yeah.
We're still there, bro. And he laughs. He's like, okay. I said, dude, I know you're trying to do your job. I respect that. But I'm just trying to get some trim and get home, bro.
So next time that happens, tell them you rent.
Okay.
Because if you rent the house, they cannot put solar on the house.
True.
That is the one, and this is for anybody knocking doors. Like, because if we knock door, I rent. Okay, have a good day. Like, I'm out faster. Like, I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
So just tell them you rent.
Okay.
Or tell them you don't have a house. Tell them you're homeless.
He was fun, though. He laughed, and he goes, "So what you're saying is same time tomorrow?" I said, yeah, same time tomorrow. I'll be in this aisle, and I'll buy all the solar panels you got. He's like, really? I'm like, no.
Not at all. 0 solar panels.
Yeah, so he was cool. He was fun. But, yeah, it's just – and I went in there recently. There was another guy. They had a stand, dude.
Yeah.
Minute you walk in.
I could never do that.
I'm going to get Christmas lights, bro. Yeah. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "I'm all set, bro." "I was just saying hello to you." I'm like, I just ignored him, kept walking. Like, no, you weren't, because you're standing behind a damn whatever they call. I respect what you're doing, but I ain't here for that, bro.
Which brings up, like, you immediately red flag when he's like, "Hey, sir, how are you today?"
Correct.
Same thing on the phone. So, like, I always tell new agents, when you call someone, it's Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Friday afternoon, doesn't matter. You cannot be excited to talk to them. Internally, yes, you want to help them.
Yeah.
But you can't say, "Hey, sir, how's your day so far?" Because immediately, bing, 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 sales. Yeah. So it's just, yeah, hey, Mike, Ty, getting back to you. You filled out that little form. Yeah, I'm just the guy assigned to help you out. I'm almost done for the day. So were you looking at coverage on just you, or you and a spouse? It's like very boring, monotone. Then once I'm in the app, going back to the application, once you're in the application, now you can open up and, talk about the grandkids.
Dude, I've had fun at an appointment. You're laughing, but you got to get there first.
Get there first. And it's weird. The clients, they feel weird if you're too nice or too buddy throughout the process. Yeah. During the first part of the sale. And so just keep it business, all business, then, in the app.
Because that's what everybody else sounds like. Yep. I mean, a spam call from the minute. Well, first of all, it takes them about 4 seconds to get on the phone. But then they're like, either they're mispronouncing your name or they're the opposite. "Hey, Mr. Cook, how's it going today?" Oh God. Click. Yeah. But if they're just like, "Hey, what's up, Ty?" Yep. You'd be like, "Who the hell is this?
Who is this?"
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we have the benefit of everyone filling out a form, you know. Another objection. What about, hey, I'm too young. I don't need insurance right now. You know why I fill it out? I'm too young. It's for old people, right?
Yeah. So I'm only 30 myself. Mike, I guess who would be the one kind of taking care of stuff if you did pass? Like, not saying you will because you're young, healthy, but like you got a brother,
Yeah,
kids,
probably
wife,
my older brother, but I ain't nothing could happen to me now,
Okay. Yeah. So I guess if, just hypothetically, if something did happen, does he have the money? Because funerals these days, 15, 20, 25 grand. Does he have the money to like come out of pocket and pay for that?
Probably not. No.
Okay. Got it. And then I guess for you, what do you do for work?
I'm in construction.
Okay. So if like you fall off a house or something bad happens and you can't go to work the next days, how are the bills going to get paid?
Yeah, I guess It'd be hard.
Okay, got it. So what we'll do for you then, because, death insurance, you're going to live a long, good life. We'll put something small in place. But most folks, in your situation, 30s, we get a living benefit policy that will pay out if you get sick or disabled and you can't work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me pull this up here, go through suitability, proceed. And
go.
then again, you do need something because you filled it out. So the mentality is not, oh, you don't need it, sir. I apologize for bothering you. It's then why the hell did you fill this out? That's where my head's going. Like I'm curious, but also I'm placing them. I'm trying to assume like, oh, well then you're probably like most 30-year-olds. I'm 30. I'll be 30. You're like most of us. We're not going to die anytime soon. So that's why you're probably looking at the living benefits. And then they're like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. And then you proceed.
Or how about the fact, too, like you're healthy now? Here's your buying power in insurance. It ain't, hey, you go get a mortgage loan, your credit score is your buying power, right? Your down payment. Right. Your buying power in insurance is your health and your age.
And your age,
So I hear you, but why would you not want to lock it in while you're young and healthy? You want to wait till you're old and sick?
Yeah. No, I assume you're wanting to lock this in like most people.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you don't go apply for a credit card when your score is in the dump. Like, you don't go get that loan. Like, you got all this shit on. You wait till you got your shit right to go apply for the loan. Dude. Like, come on. Moving on. So we meet with all types of clients, right? But I think, it's a fair thing to say that if you've been doing this for a year, maybe 2 tops, you've run into every type of client you're going to, every client scenario. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like if you called Zach, Zach had already been here for 4 or 5 years or a few years when you started. If you called him or Easton, like, hey, they're not going to be like, oh, shit, never got that one tie, right? They're like, here's how you handle that one. Here's what you say to that one. Or even ones you didn't close, they're like, dude, if you would have just done this. Right. Or when he says that, if you say so I have a few different situations that, because a lot of brand new agents that watch this, they're going to run into these situations for the first time. You've run into them, dozens, probably hundreds of times, right? So divorced individuals, right? Like what's the approach? What should a new agent know about divorced clients and how to handle that? Yeah, so divorced clients often, when they get the law involved, right? They are required to carry a certain amount of insurance to make sure that if, he dies or she dies, the child support is paid. Right. So oftentimes when I run into those, they already know like, hey, my lawyer says I got to get $500,000. Like, what's the cheapest you got? Okay, 10-year term, 15-year term, whatever. Right. I've also noticed that single parents or divorced, same kind of demographic, they are more willing or likely to like want to take care of their kids. Yeah. Absolutely. They feel like, okay, well, my ex-wife, she can do whatever she wants, but I'm definitely going to take care of the kids. Right. And so they almost try to like one up. Yeah. Right, is what I've seen. So you should get a better policy. And so you can exactly. It's like, well, how much coverage does your ex have? 200,000. Oh, so you're looking for about 250, 300. Right. Okay. So approaching it that way. That's been the best for me. And that's a good thing to know and bring up. Like, I learned that from a client. Yeah. Early on, like I was probably a month or 2 in, I had a client who had just got divorced, and that was exactly why he filled out the form. Yep. So I took that into other appointments. There's been appointments where I met with someone who was going to get divorced, right? So I'm like, you're going to have to get life insurance, right? Yep. Like there's a 99% chance that once this, why not get it now? Yeah. So when that does come up in court, you go, no, I already got life insurance. Yep. Yeah. Like it's good to know. No brainer. Nope. First-time home buyers, you deal with mortgage protection. You meet with a lot of these. Yep. A lot of times it's great, right? You think, oh, you just bought a house. It's fresh on the mind. That's true. But there are some situations where, like I'm sure you've heard this. Hey, I just moved in, Ty. I haven't even made my first mortgage payment yet. I've not paid any bills yet. I really don't want to add a new bill on right now because I need to see what my finances are like in a couple months. Perfect. You've heard stuff like this. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So perfect. You make them feel like you're acknowledging it and say, perfect. We'll revisit this and talk again in a couple months. But what we need to do today is lock something in bare minimum in place so that, God forbid, something does happen in this new house that you guys have worked hard to get into. It's your first home, right? Yep. Is secure. If you can't work or if you pass away, we want to protect this house. And then 2-3 months down the road, I'll follow up with you. And we can increase coverage if we need to. So got your age is this, and depending where you're at, you just roll in. Yeah. And like, who would say no to that?
Right.
Like you're acknowledging that exactly, because the last thing you want to do is get in a disagreement with them and go back and forth. You're agreeing with them. No, you're right. You probably should wait a few months, but let's at least do this for now.
Before you go, we need to get this. And all objections, it comes back to a misunderstanding of one of three things, right? So people buy, they need to have a why, right? So that's the first. So need, why, whatever you want to call it. The second, the price has to fit.
Right.
If someone makes $4,000 a month and their insurance is $3,000 a month, they will probably say no.
Right. Yeah.
That's an extreme example.
Exactly. But yeah.
But it has to make sense.
Right.
And then the third one is they have to understand the process. We're not selling, there's no physical, yes, there's a packet that they get, but it's not like selling a car.
Right.
A car is a physical product. We are selling the process. So if there are any objections, it's because we didn't hit on the need enough. The price is just way out of range, which is an easy fix. You just drop it down.
Right.
Or they're not clear like why you're asking this, what we're doing. Like they're not clear of what's next. And when a person's confused, I've always heard a confused mind always says no. So if there's any sort of like subconscious misunderstanding, confusion, they will just default to, yeah, Mike, I got to think about it. Okay, you can't ask, think about what, but if you did, they'd be like, I don't know, I just got to think about it. Because they don't know, they just know something's fuzzy, something's off.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're getting that, those are all things that you have done.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
That's one of the, I guess, the saving graces about this business is it all falls on you.
Yeah.
The good and the bad. You got to put the work in. Yes, you're going to learn from people. They're going to teach you. But at the end of the day, you got to make the dials. You got to meet with the clients. You got to help them.
Yep.
And if you don't help them, you screwed something up.
Correct.
Like I always say they were interested in life insurance, Ty, and then they met you. What happened? You know, like they did all that, bro. Then you went out to the house, and now they didn't get life insurance.
So true.
They wanted it before they met you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So true.
And you know, husband, wife, we are prideful. We being men.
Yeah, men. Yeah.
The last thing that a guy, especially a newlywed, first-time home buyer, he doesn't want to tell you in front of his bride that I can't afford something.
Can't afford it. Yep.
We used to call it the base plan, Ty. We hit him with the base plan. I hit him with the base plan, bro. The base plan is no bells and whistles. It's a minimum. It's enough to get you through the first 3 to 6 months or whatever.
Yep.
Sometimes they call back and increase it. Sometimes they keep the base plan, and that's their plan. It's all good.
Most of the time, people do the base plan, and most of the time, you never hear back from them because they just want it done. They just want to know, like, back of their mind, okay, I got my life insurance. It's good.
Yep.
And then if they really are serious, you know, they'll call you back.
Yeah.
But I'd say 90% of the time, we're downselling to some bottom option and locking it in. For some, that's $62. For others, that's their bare minimum is $400 a month.
Yep.
But find that bare minimum, and then your whole goal, my job today is to help you lock in bare minimum so that your family has time and options. If we need to increase later, we can. But let's just get started here. Right?
Dude, they're usually telling you things by not saying them.
Yeah.
Like, I always did the 3 options.
Yep.
And then when you get someone who's like, you know, they're acting like it's so confusing, Ty. Like, like, bro, it's 3. Like, just close your eyes and pick one, you know?
Yeah.
So I would just go, hey, Ty, we can always change this in the future. But today, which one of these would you not want to do any less than? Right? Like, which one that's because your bare minimum, same thought, you know?
Yep.
And a lot of times it's the middle one.
Yeah.
I go, well, how about this one right here? Yeah, I really like this, but, you know, and the middle one happens to be somewhere between $80 and $100.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but you got to guide them. Sometimes you got to make that decision for them. Like, hey, Ty, we'll do this.
Yep.
This one seem all right, $85 a month. Yeah, my whole mortgage is, you know, $300. Yeah, I know. We're going to do $150 for $80 a month.
Yep.
I can do that. Down the road, you ever want to increase this, add some more, get another policy, whatever, you call me. Yep. But we're going to start with this.
Yep.
Make them feel good about it. Then you edify, like, dude, it's a great decision you made. It's awesome because, I mean, right now you got half the mortgage covered.
Yeah.
Something happens to you, she's not going to lose this place. Like, you have options.
Yeah, and you could start throwing out little subtle jabs of like, man, Mike, you're so responsible. I mean, some people out there, they're spending $50, $100, $150 on Chick-fil-A, and you're taking care of your family. Like, props to you, man. Like,
absolutely.
Now they're like, oh shit, well now I can't say no.
Yeah, he went from feeling bad about, you know, can't afford the big one to now he's feeling like the hero because he got something, you know, which he should. I mean, dude, it is a big deal.
Yeah.
Last one, military. You do some vet leads, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's all kinds of misconception. Now there is some insurance options for vets.
Yep.
How often does that come up, and how do you handle it? You know, like I've had people, we didn't have vet leads. When I ran into it a lot of times back then, it would be, you know, oh, I already got policy through the military. I just want to see what you guys were offering. Yeah. So how do you manage that?
So it all goes down to the benefits, right? So living benefits, we have on most of our policies, the VA does not. Plans that increase in rate or have a waiting period. So when a vet comes across my desk, I immediately assume, all right, Mike, like most veterans I talk to, I'm assuming you're looking at this because you don't want a plan that has a wait period or increases and has some like living benefits, right? And whether that was on their mind or not, they will usually agree. And they'll just say, oh, living benefits. Yeah, that's exactly why. Well, you know, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Or you can we call spend the coverage. You know, spend the coverage with what they have in the military. Say they're, you know, 400,000. Oh, got it. So I'm assuming, Mike, you're just looking at this because, you know, after all your bills are paid and your income's replaced, you know, that 400,000 doesn't go as long as you thought. So we're trying to find something that's there for the long haul that will help your wife and kids, you know, take care of things when you're past well beyond the first few years. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now you're like, sounds pretty good. Yeah, that's correct.
Right. Yeah, because whatever they had before they called you. They had before they filled out the form. Like, so when before we started FFL, Sean had his own agency at another company, and once I got going and I proved that I could sell, he had me as like the new agent mentor. So I dealt with all of the new agents. I helped them get going. So, dude, I heard it all. Yeah. Right. And then you're like, dude, Mike, we were in the field. I get calls after every appointment. Yeah, I just got there, man, and he had a policy. It's like, wait a minute. He had a policy. Yep. He's married. Like, yeah. He's got a big house. He's got 3 kids. Like, and he had a policy. Yep. Said, bro, he had the policy when you called him. He had it when he filled out the form. He had it when you got to. He didn't just get it like yesterday. Yeah. He knew he had that when he filled this out. Yep. I don't just like, okay, so this is an addition too. Yeah. We're not looking to, then you get these guys, they're so concerned. Well, how do I beat his policy? You don't need it.
No, just add.
It's not what we're there for.
Spend it and add.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. You know, and also what we do, everybody needs. Yep. Like everybody needs. And I love how you make them seem like what they're doing, everyone's doing. Yes. Right? Like you said, hey, you bring up the military coverage, whether they're going to bring it up or not, and people just love to go with the flow. Yeah. Like they're going to nod their head and say yes, even whether they were thinking about it or not.
Right. They're like, sounds good.
Yep. Yeah. Dude, I sold a policy this is one of the craziest appointments. It was all these old final expenses we used to get like 10, 15 years ago. You trust me, you don't want them. It did sound like they were free. I'm pretty sure the company that sold them was probably out of business. Yeah. You know, but it's what we had. Yeah. We had no choice. Yep. We're getting them through this other company. So I go, they mail them to like lower income, apartment complexes or whatnot. So I'm up in Middletown, Connecticut. I had an appointment, knock on this lady's door. I'm like midday. I've already ran like 4 or 5 appointments. And, when you're out, you've been in the field, so you know what it's like. Yeah. So I'm like, dude, I'm just, hey, you're here? Okay. We sit down. Lets me in. We do some small talk, nice place, yada, yada. And then I just got the lead sitting on the table, and I slide it over to her. I'm like, so, when you got this, what made you fill this out? And she's like, I didn't get that. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, that's not me. And I pull it out. I say the name. She's like, no, my name's whatever. I'm like, that's my neighbor. Look at the address. I'm like, oh, shit, that's next door. So I'm like, I'm here. She let me in. Yeah. So I'm like, well, you're going to get one of these soon anyways. And everyone around here is filling these out because no one has enough life insurance, right? Do you have any life insurance? She's like, no, I don't have anything right now. Yeah. She had a couple kids, and I'm like, let's end up showing her some options, write her a policy. Beautiful. Like, well, that's crazy. But it's not, though. Yeah, yeah. Because, number one, everyone needs life insurance. Everyone. Right? Mm-hmm. And I just walked in and assumed, and it's just a test. Now, this was not day one. I'd already been doing this for 4 or 5 years. But it's just that assumptiveness, that presumptiveness, that attitude is everything. Right. Because I walked in her house. She had no appointment. She don't know me from anyone, dude. Let you in. I had a bag. I got my, my company shirt on. Crazy. I got the lead. And she's like, yeah, come on in. Shakes my hand, sits down at the table, and like, that's not me.
That's wild.
But it's all this.
Yep.
So and I love saying things like everyone's doing. Here's what most people do. How many times you say that in the point?
All my clients, most people in your situation do this. Like, bandwagon.
And it's true, though, because
yeah.
most people in your situation are filling out these forms, at least the ones I deal with,
Yes,
and
yes.
here's what they're doing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
But this has been great. I really appreciate you coming up doing this. Last thing I want to wrap with is, like, why you're sitting in this seat doing this. Now, there's 52 weeks in a year. I remember when we first started doing this, we had agents that would suggest other agents.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd send me lists of, like, you know, everyone would send me 50 agents. I'm like, do y'all know how many weeks are in the year, right? Like, there's 52.
Yeah.
I can't get 200 people on the podcast in 52 weeks.
Yep.
But the reason why we have you here is you've sold $630,000 this year.
Yep.
Not just that reason. You have good quality of it, but
Right.
that is, and why is that important? Because it's a disservice to the people watching if the person sitting in that chair doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
At a high level.
Yeah.
You said on your True Talk, you haven't checked that out, but when you joined us, you wanted to, or even at when you were in solar, you wanted to rub shoulders with the guys at the top.
Yep.
Not because, like, oh, I'm part of some special club, but, like, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, yeah.
And that's the same thing here. I mean, that was one thing that when we started FFL, Sean said, we will not have people train that are not good at what they're doing.
Love it.
Because, like, Sean could sit here and he hasn't sold life insurance in years. Now, he can talk to you sales cons, but he's not going to get down, like, here's when you sell this product. It's like, dude, I don't even know what products we have right now.
Yeah.
You know? But and that's why I think we have the edge. Like, you've worked at companies where
Oh, yeah.
maybe the top guy, or maybe the guy who's teaching the sales training isn't really selling anymore.
Yeah, this is like that. That was the biggest thing too. Is the guys at the top are the top in the industry.
Correct.
Not just like, hey, this guy sells. It's like, no, I think our top dude, he's over $2 million for the year.
Close to it, yeah.
Like I don't know of any other
No.
company that does
There's
that.
more than some agencies.
We'll have over 10 people. I was looking at the leaderboard. We'll have over 10 people do over $1 million this year. Like, and the reason it works is because those people are accessible.
Correct.
It's not like Harold Durana has always sold $1 million of mortgage. I could DM him a question
Right.
as long as it's not a novel. I could give him a quick question. Hey, what intro to use? He'll probably hit me back. Maybe not right away. He's busy.
Sure.
But like, he's an open book.
Absolutely.
And so Family First Life has all the secrets out there for everybody.
Correct.
And it's not just the crazy part, which I didn't understand at the beginning, but now I do.
Yeah.
Is it's just out there for everybody.
Yeah.
Every agent's, it doesn't matter, but it's like it just breeds this culture of, hey, I'm winning. I want you to win too. Here's how to do it.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome.
Dude, I've talked to people that have joined us because they were using our training.
Yeah.
I forget who. It was someone recent within the past few months that, and I do so many of these, I can't keep up. But he was using our training at a different company.
So good.
Different industry, dude. He's like using our sales training. And then he's like, this is so good that I'm going to join them. But he used our stuff first. Like, try before you buy, I guess.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's out there, dude. It is what it is. At first, we're like, should we password protect? I'm like, no, dude. Hey, if they use it, eventually they're going to join us.
Yeah, they're going to join.
You know?
Yep.
And if it is real and it is that true, then I don't care about having it out there.
Yeah.
And if I had something to hide, then, we'd have it all hidden. But,
yeah.
dude, here it is. Have at it.
Here's the play.
Absolutely. But the last thing I'll say is it's on you, though.
Mm.
We're going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
But this is not for everyone.
No.
You've gone through some ups and downs with recruiting. Jan 1, you had one guy at 10K.
Yep.
Last month, you had 25 get paid, and y'all sold 300K collectively.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
But you go through, it's not for everyone.
Right. No.
Not
Gotta
at
work
all.
hard, be coachable. Then it's for you. Work hard, be coachable.
Yeah.
Literally it.
Absolutely. The process is there. You don't have to come here and reinvent the wheel. So, I appreciate you coming up, Ty. I really do.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for checking us out. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And where can you see us next? Since you asked, you didn't ask, but we'll be in Irving, Texas at the end of January. You'll be there, Ty.
I'll be there.
And I said this, I'll say this every single week, that your business, if you're recruiting, your business next year will be contingent upon how many people you have at this event.
Yep.
Your growth or lack thereof.
Yep.
It just will. Your goal is to have over 20 there.
Yep.
You
Over
want to
20.
hit Agency Hall of Fame next year. And if you like, that's the first step. You get 20 there, half the work's already done.
Yep.
Because that's a few days of training
It's the foundation.
dude, countless. I mean, there's so many people training this year, a lot of new names. You can't bottle that up. And it's like one of those you had to be there moments.
Yes, definitely.
And it saves you a lot of work on the front end with your team and even yourself, you know. So, I appreciate you coming up. I really do. Guys, thanks for checking us out. You know where to find us every week right here on The Next Level. We'll see you next week.